It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You're on the street, and when you can't see your family, and you've maybe lost touch with people, or maybe you know where they are, but actually they don't want to see you. Actually, Christmas can be a terrible time.
Meetings when friends come to call. It's the happiest season. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmas is long ago.
Every night from late October till the end of March, the Bethany Christian Trust have put on a winter care shelter to provide emergency accommodation and a hot meal for those who would otherwise be sleeping rough and hungry on the streets of Edinburgh. The Trust's vision is that through Christian love in action, homelessness will be reduced and vulnerable people empowered to live independently within society.
Well, we started the care shelter in 1996 to meet the needs of folk that were on the street. The winter kills folk when you're on the street. You know, it's not a safe place to be. For us, we can put on an extra jacket. For them, you know, literally it's a life or death situation. So in 96 they seen the need. They started a 2-week pilot, and so just for 2 weeks we had folk coming into the church halls and staying there, and it was really heavily used. So the next winter we did it again, but with more weeks. It grew to 3 months, 5 months, which was 22 weeks, and this year we're even doing it for 24 weeks.
The Bethany Christian Trust was started in 1983 by a Leith minister called Reverend Alan Berry. He saw the needy of Edinburgh sleeping rough on the streets and wanted to help.
So they start at 8, and they pick up the van, the minibus from Bethany House, and they come up with all the supplies for that night. So they bring everything with them, you know, even a fire extinguisher and the comfy mats and the warm blankets, and they sit out the hall.
A team of 3 or 4 Bethany workers are graciously aided by a team of volunteers from the churches around Edinburgh and as far afield as Falkirk and Dunfermline, who work on a rota to help the workers in setting up and maintaining the shelter over the course of the night. Each volunteer team usually serves around once a month over the course of the winter, and are keen to help in any way they can. They then aid the Bethany workers by going to pick up the homeless people, or service users as they're called, at the arranged pick-up point at Waterloo Place, next to the Balmoral Hotel. This extra service is optional, and the homeless people often make their own way to the shelter. But when the church hall being used that evening is on the other side of the city centre, a bus journey is often preferred, and the minibus often has to make 2 trips. Meanwhile, back at the shelter, the rest of the volunteers are cooking a 2-course meal for up to 50 service users. Bethany supports around 4,000 homeless and vulnerable people each year through its services, not just the care shelter. It employs nearly 200 full and part-time staff, but relies on its over 1,000 volunteers to sustain the amazing service that it provides.
So they'll cook a 2-course meal, and you know, some of these folk put incredible amounts of effort into this meal. Like I think there must be some sort of secret league table where they're maybe trying to compete for who's got the best meal. But really wonderful meals.
The shelter is a temporary home for the service users, but to maintain order there have to be certain house rules.
So the night begins at 9:30. We start providing them food. We give them a meal here and get them in safely. And as they come into the door, it's essentially to make them feel very welcome, and this is their home for the night. And they come in and feel safe and secure, and they can rest in peace. So we may have somebody may come in with alcohol in them or drugs and that type of thing. So it's keeping those people quiet so we get the night quieting down.
What can I get you? There's chicken, macaroni and cheese.
Many of the volunteers work full-time and have given up their precious evenings off to serve. But they do not grudge doing this and believe it is a worthy service.
For myself, I'm what I call the team leader here, so I'm supposed to be sort of coordinating and running up downstairs and working between the Bethany team and the church catering team. So it's really kind of a glorified gopher, really, but making sure it all happens on time and everybody's happy and safe, yeah.
They've got a warm meal in their stomachs, they've got somewhere safe to stay for the night, somewhere warm to stay, and it just gets them through another night. And maybe from that, they might actually think, you know what, maybe we can actually get off the streets permanently.
Well, I'm the team leader, so I have to organise all the food, buy all the things, and our congregation provide the non-perishable goods and get the team together.
Providing a service on a cold night and then being able to get a bed and shelter and some good food.
The hot meal is well received by all the service users and they are extremely grateful for the volunteers and the time they give up. Some favourites include shepherd's pie and macaroni cheese. But some of the service users prefer their hot meal to take away, and after eating and thanking the staff, retreat to their home from home for the night, a crypt in the St Cuthbert's Church graveyard.
We came down here about 4 months ago with the clothes we had on our back, a cover each, and then we've just bolted up over the months of like the care van and
Granny.
people will come down here and they'll give us stuff like blankets and a coffee table and wee table, everything. Like that.
Granny done that.
But it's getting harder now with the winter days, colder days. This is the first time I've been homeless, so this will be the first year I'll know how like my family around is, my bairns and my grandbairns. So in a way, I probably will. I don't know until it happens.
Well, I've been on the
But see, when I'm back to Princess Street, you've got all the decoration, that kind of that affects me.
Although they are grateful for the service, they don't feel that everyone appreciates it.
You're standing there getting out of spare time, and you can probably get somebody that'll come up and say, cheek hangs like, "What the f***'s that? Is that all you've got?" I didn't like that. I mean, you're getting the food for nothing. How can you turn around and say to somebody, "I don't like that, give me something else"? I mean, these people are getting up their spare time. These people are leaving their families, their bairns and everything behind, just to come out, whatever time they come out at, right? Just to sit there and help the homeless people out.
Cammy believes that it takes a certain type of person to work in the shelter.
Working in the care shelter is not just because you want a job for the winter. It's a calling. People really have to be called into that situation to deal with often very chaotic individuals, often very dangerous circumstances, and dealing with a lot of risk. They've got to be the right folk with the right background, with the right training, but also with the right heart.
I do it because I see there's a need out there for people who, for one reason or another, might have lost their way a bit and just need a helping hand. And I do it because I love Jesus, and that's the sort of thing that he was doing all the time on his time on earth here.
God has changed my life and made me into probably a softer person, because if you weren't a kind of person who cared and had a soft heart for people, I guess you couldn't do this kind of work. And it has changed me an awful lot. And I've heard different stories of where guys have come in and just been so overwhelmed by us doing this kind of work, and they ask us, "Why you do this job?" And then I just say, "Because we love you guys, we want to help you."
Try and volunteer as much as I can, because Bethany Christian Trust are a wonderful organisation, and volunteering, it gives you that buzz that you're helping somebody, like tonight, just get off the streets and feel warm and get a bit of food in their stomachs.
We get just as much from them and their stories as they do from us. So they think that we're here just helping them, and it's all about like us giving something of ourselves to them, but actually they don't realise that we get a lot from their stories and just a lot of joy from working here as well, you know. So.
And the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go and visit you? And the king will reply, I tell you the truth, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me.
Christmas night, another fight, tears we cried a flood. Got all kinds of poison in my blood. I took my feet to Oxford Street, trying to right a wrong. Just walk away, those windows say, but I can't believe she's gone. When you're still waiting for the snow to fall, it doesn't really feel like Christmas at all.